It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on a Friday night. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and everything else that is cool. Talking about Warhammer fantasy and everything else that's true.
Welcome, one and all. It is the Andy and Rem Show, episode 104. And I'm pretty sure for the last 3 episodes we've said, yeah, we're really getting back into the spirit of things now. Let's get these episodes out more regularly. And then, again, it's been 2 months. So what's the deal with that, Mr. Remington?
Is it all my fault? Probably is all my fault, Andy. I have a new job. Yay!
Actually, yes, people were asking about that.
Yeah, I'm really loving it. I'm driving a lot to work. I'm driving near Warhammer World actually every day to get to my work. So that's kind of very cool.
So you should be absorbing all that inspiration just from driving close to Warhammer World. So why hasn't that boosted you?
Oh, it has. Although you haven't heard from me, I've been a busy boy at my paint desk. I finished all my Night Haunts and some Banshees, and I've finished all my Moonclan Grots, including the new warband.
Yeah, we've seen those. We're going to have a look at them at some point as well tonight.
Yeah, and we're finishing. Well, I'm finishing all my Bloodbound. We've got a bunch of Bloodbound heroes from the Gore Chosen box, so I'm finishing that off. I'm just clearing the decks. Speaking of decks, I've been playing Warhammer 2 Pirates of Sartosa.
Have you, and how's that?
Well, the actual concept of Pirates of Sartosa was actually it's actually conceptualized by myself about 2 years ago. Fans of the show might remember, but again, Games Workshop went ahead and sold the idea to a video games company, which now have put it out. So anyway, whatever. I'm playing the game.
Take a word for it.
Yeah, I've been playing Total Warlords as well. So yeah, loving life. Everything's cool.
Well, I can show you what I've been working on right here. Look at this. Let's see how close does it have to be before it focuses. Really, really close. There we go. Look at that. Not finished yet, obviously, but getting there. Because I did play a couple of games of Age of Sigmar the other day with Mr. Stew, who came down from the Highlands, and magic is quite fun, I found. We did have an endless spell in use. Have you seen the battle report of one of those games yet?
I did. I saw the one where you were Stormcast and he was Nurgle, and I think you fixed the game so you won, but I kind of knew that had happened before you.
We did play the endless spell completely wrong, though.
Oh, you had a pendulum, didn't you, that went through?
Yes, but apparently it's only supposed to travel in a perfectly straight line across the battlefield every turn, and can never turn at all. It just travels on one straight line from being cast, and we were actually under the impression that you could turn it.
So, right. What, did it devastate some ranks then?
1 or 2.
So yeah. All right. Well, I'll talk to you more about it later. What else? What have we got on the show tonight, Andy?
Well, we've got a packed lineup tonight, but first of all, I think we need to say hello to our lovely and patient audience who've been waiting for the last couple of months. Let's see who we've got in there. Who are the active chat participants right now? We've got Bazooka J Rambo, Demon_Lizard_From_Outer_Space, Dicey Guy, Jacob Lobotka, Mickey Jenver, Russell Higgins, Stu Gibson, and Wayne Catlin at the moment, chatting away. More people than that viewing. There's Juan Hidalgo as well. Just popped up with a comment there.
Juan Hidalgo.
And Graham Rigg as well.
Nice.
Mr. Beholder himself. So, in the time since the last show, there have been a few Age of Sigmar releases. It's been a little bit quiet this month. People have been waiting for the build-up of Orktober, which was very much a 40k thing. However, there are a few things that we're going to look at in the realms, as it were. So let's start with this page with the new releases. Now, Realm Slayer, a Gotrek Gurnison series starring Brian Blessed, not Blian.
Brian Blessed!
Now, have you heard the little excerpt that they put up on Facebook from this audio drama?
No.
It's definitely him. It definitely suits him. And you can see that you can hear that he's definitely thrust himself into it as only he can with that voice of his.
I love Brian Blessed. Ever since I saw him in, obviously, Flash Gordon, but also Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is in that. He's also in Henry V, I think, Shakespeare put to a movie. Yeah, he's amazing.
And let's not forget Blackadder.
Blackadder! Yeah, he was in Blackadder 1, wasn't he? He was the king.
Yeah, routinely getting Edmund's name wrong with cries of, Edwin, Edith!
So what? It's just £35. What is that? It's a series? Is it just?
It's not an audio book. It's an audio drama. So it's all really done with voices with a little bit of narration sprinkled in, I think, rather than someone just reading a book. So it's more. It is actually like a radio play type thing.
Right. Now I've signed up to Audible, where you get a free book audio book each month. You can also buy them, but yeah, that's next on my list. But on Audible, it comes up as £26, but then I guess it's just the audio. This maybe you get, you get CDs, might get a little pamphlet, right?
So is this something that you're considering then? It comes on 5 CDs if you want this version.
Wow, it looks well good. Yeah, no, I'm going to get the audiobook, I think, but this month I've been going through audiobooks like you wouldn't believe. Like I've gone through about 3 Horus Heresy ones for 40k, got right bang into that epic tale. Then I've got into the Nagash audiobooks. So I'm currently listening to Soul Wars audiobook. I'm halfway through that. Get about 16 hours worth in each audiobook. So it takes me like an hour to get to work. So that's what I do. I drive to work, listen to a couple of chapters from a Warhammer audiobook. Happy days.
Well, at some point, we're going to have a full episode dedicated to just you fluffing up the audience, as it were, and spilling all your fluff-based knowledge that you've acquired from all these audiobooks onto the masses.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So there's Black Talon Collection, which seems to be a book that comes with the Black Talon miniature as well.
Good. I like characters that have story behind them, proper story.
Not just the kind of faceless Stormcast that graced the first few stories.
Yeah. Well, you had Vander's Hammerhand, that was kind of it, but yeah. I mean, there's been loads of Stormcast characters, major characters, but there's no miniatures for them. So it's nice to see 1 or 2 come out.
The Gotrek and Felix Omnibus paperback. I'll have to see what's actually in that. How many books are in there?
It's the first 3.
Is it?
I've read it, yeah. I've read the first. There's the first omnibus, and then there's the second omnibus, and I'm halfway through the 3rd omnibus.
I've got a few random books from the series from back in the day, but I don't think I got them in any particular order.
Yeah, they're sort of loosely in order. I mean, the first one I think is called Troll Slayer.
Yes, that's not the first one I read, though. I think the first one I read was Skaven Slayer back in the day.
That's a really good one, that is. Really good. Yeah, Troll Slayer, it's basically how Gurnison loses an eye. He loses his eye in kind of like the first battle, really. And yeah, they're really good. I think they're my favourite of all the old school, well, of all time, really, of Warhammer books.
Now, Nagash Journal, hardcover, £13. Let's have a look what this is. Let's see if it's actually the Journal of Nagash or whether it's just like a diary that you can keep that's Nagash themed. Let's have a look. 192 pages, margin, quotes, and pocket for holding tokens, odd notes, and maybe the occasional bone. This is the perfect accessory for fans of Nagash.
I think you should write a diary.
I think I should write it in a Nagash journal, hardcover.
Yeah, and then put it out as an audiobook. How about that for a patron idea, right?
Well, I think we need to raise a few more funds before that would happen.
$1 million, produced by Remington.
Yeah, I'm not even bringing in £13 a month at the moment. So
there you go. I'm giving you ideas for free here, Andy. Who wouldn't want to hear your dulcet tones and daily exploits?
Surely only a fool wouldn't want to hear all about
that. You've got mad stories. What about your neighbour that got attacked by an angry mob?
Not exactly, but yeah. I don't know if people would want to hear all about that, though.
Well, you have to colorise it.
Right, there is something else that's very interesting to me as well, and that is this Azerite townscape. Because I was just thinking of getting some of the Azerite ruins, because they are quite cheap, shall we say, to provide a little bit of extra terrain for my Age of Sigmar battlefield. And then I've spotted this, which is a bit more expensive, but you can actually build it up and have multiple layers of terrain now.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that. They look really cool, them walls.
It comes with some of the same pieces as the Azerite ruins, but also additional parts as well. So you can make multiple structures with multiple levels as well. And I think it's quite customizable. Not sure exactly how customizable it is.
Yeah, they look good. It look like you're going to need more than one box, really.
It depends how much space you need to fill up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it look great on the board that you've got. That's within your battle reports.
Yeah, I'm thinking one of these sets to surround the inner sanctum area of that heavenly battle mat I've got.
That'd be good. You could have those buildings in the middle with your Stormcast, like the last survivors, and that it could be surrounded by my Moonclan horde. That's the scenario.
Sounds very terrifying. Okay, let's have a look. Anything else? Now, this is the pre-order section only. It looks like it's mostly the same stuff. What do you think of novellas?
Yeah, they're very...
Are they a bit too short for your liking?
They are, because I'm banging, like I said, I'm into the audiobooks now, so they're a great thing to paint to. So I'm got into sort of multitasking, you see, so I can't sit and listen to an audiobook and not do anything else. So it's been nice to drive and to paint and listen to audiobooks, but I'm not so much reading. I mean, you're talking about audiobooks of these small novellas are like 27, 30 minutes long. Not very long at all. I listened to one of them about the Caradron Overlords. That was all right. Yeah, they're all right.
We've got a comment here from Dave Doge. He says, I get confused about what's new and what's old for these new terrain sets. Yes, so for example, the Vale of Gairan is very clearly just several citadel woods plopped together, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's have a look. It looks like they've just built two of them using the leaves, which are quite fiddly, and I don't know anyone personally that's actually attached the leaves to any of their trees.
I did. They all fall off, though.
Yeah, they do tend to fall off. The ones at Warhammer World don't fall off.
They're flipping cemented on there.
They must be. Because, let's see. Does it say it contains 4 Citadel wood sets? Yeah. So while it's down as new, it's really just a bundle deal. And I'm not sure if there's actually any savings on it. But yeah, they have been known to kind of bundle things up. Your search did not match any products. Well, that's nice. Let's go back to this page then. Like this one here, there is definitely some new product in here though, but it's also combined with some of the old Azerite ruins. So they like recycling and repackaging stuff. They've got the Desolated Township here, which is just a vast amount of that terrain for a slight saving, I think. And look how much stuff you get in there.
A lot of painting, Andy.
That's a lot of Azerite ruins. How many sets of it are in there? 8 frames of Azerite ruins scenery.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably about 4 different sets there at least, plus other stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks pretty cool, but it is difficult to tell what's new. I can see your point there, Dave. Okay, shall we move on to this? Because you spotted something in this Blood and Glory studio preview roundup extravaganza, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That excited you. So let's scroll down it very slowly. And the next battle tome, there's a Destruction Rising teaser trailer, which people can watch.
Yeah, so that's going to be the new Moonclan Grots battle tome coming soon. And this is quite exciting for me because I already have like, I'd say 1,500 points worth, with 1,400 points. And then I tend to add 6. I've got 6 Troggoths, Fellwater Troggoths to boost my forces. And then that leaves me with like a couple of 100 points to spare. So yeah, I'm excited. I'll be one of those guys that as soon as the book comes out, I'll be posting pictures of my whole army, which is really annoying, isn't it, when people do that, especially when people are just starting. But I just need the extra bits that hopefully will come out with that. So there's mentions of squigs and maybe a hero or 2. It would be lovely if there was some more units. Anyone got any ideas?
It would be nice to have a full unit of Grots Scuttlings, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess people are thinking they might be doing what they did with the Beastman army book, and that is bringing back all the sub-factions. So you could see Spider-Fan Grots coming into this. You could see some goblins and orcs coming with the Moonclan, or maybe it will just be Moonclan. I don't know. I mean, I would like to see some new Moonclan units. I mean, we talked about squigs, making squig hoppers better. That would be good. I think it'd be good to have some kind of armored elite Moonclan soldiers. What do you think about that?
The part that was usually played by the orcs in the Orc and Goblin Alliance, you think goblins should have something of their own that's like a mini orc with armor, basically?
No, it would still be Moonclan. So
it would still be a goblin, but its effects on the battlefield would be similar to a smaller orc.
Yeah. Yeah,
tougher than a goblin, basically.
Yeah, but it'd be like, you have a unit of 5 or 10 of them, and they might have some, double-handed weapon. I don't know, something that's quite comedy as well. It could be like just covered in armor, but then it'd move really slow. I'm not sure. I don't know, but something like that would be really nice, I think.
Some kind of mechanical wooden totem with legs, with little grots operating it. Something like that. That could be fun.
Yeah, also an adaptation maybe of the pump wagon. Don't know. Something to do with the moon.
How does this make you feel here? Certain beastmen returning for a limited time.
I always thought that was a bit of a shitty miniature. I'm sorry. If you're a beastman, surely you would put scythes on your wheels, wouldn't you? It looks like that chariot is going to fall apart at any minute. So yeah, I never got this model, but I guess yeah. I mean, if you look really closely, it's not a great sculpt, to be fair. And
the heads on the creatures here always seemed comically large to me as well.
Yeah, the Tuscaur, the one on the right, I like, but the I ended up making my own Beastman chariot out of the Orc chariot parts, and it looked all right. Looked better than that, anyway.
And let's see, Realm of Chaos as well.
So yeah, new flesh hounds. Not that.
They do look quite interesting there, don't they? The flesh hounds I always thought looked cool. These ones seem to resemble more so the one that Arbel the Undefeated used to ride on, which was always the best looking one, in my opinion. And brand new Fiends of Slaanesh.
Now I had a better look at these because I think last time we were on, we slagged these off a bit. But if you enlarge that picture, Andy, there's some quite interesting detail. Look on the Fiend on the right. It's like a scene out of a weird porno movie. There's like arms and legs everywhere, bending and contorting. It reminds me of this old 80s film called Society. And
do you know what kind of film this is?
Yeah, well, it's like this guy, and he meets all these I think it's his mother-in-law. I don't know. I can't remember. But it's all really weird, and it ends up with a big party scene at the end, and it basically turns into a Slaanesh party, and people sort of have these legs that pop out of their bellies, and there's like a weird orgy going on of parts, legs, and arms, and whatnot.
So it's like a big game of Twister, each one of these models.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, yeah, I'm liking the body and the tail a lot. It's just the heads that I don't know. I like real faces. They kind of look like they've just taken the heads off them seekers, haven't they?
Well, we will get some real faces in a minute once we've skipped past all this Warhammer 40,000 stuff, obviously.
Orc tanks, grot tanks, love them.
Yeah, that does look pretty cool, actually, there. Okay, scrolling down until we get to this juicy bit. There's some more Necromunda stuff there. They look pretty cool. But this is something that you spotted, isn't it?
Yeah, this is like really fueled my my thirst for Conan figures. You could have a wicked Dark Oath army with loads of marauders, just human based, loads of flesh.
Is this something you're thinking of doing, a full army?
Yeah, maybe 1,000 points. Yeah, I mean, my new thing is whatever I buy, I try and paint it straight off and get it out of the way, rather than
You'll be stronger willed than everyone else in the community if you manage to do that.
Well, I spent years just buying stuff like a kid in a sweet shop, just buying stuff, and then you end up with like drawers and boxes full of random things. It's nice to have a little plan. Like with the Moonclan things, it's like, right, I've got these 8 or 9 new figures, right, I'm going to paint them all in one go, done, add it to the army. Next, so I'm into these like mini projects now, and it seems a lot more productive. These guys could be wicked, man. Just an army of like savage humans. No particular affiliation to any of the 4 Chaos Gods. It'd be nice if they had their own little sort of demigods or minor gods, like in Total War. They worship the crow or the serpent.
Well, you could certainly do that if you just had a very crow-like or serpent-esque banner.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a project you could get behind, because that's definitely the amount of skin on show there. It definitely has a Remington vibe to it. That's the kind of thing that you enjoy painting, isn't it?
Yeah, and with the Silver Tower, I really enjoyed painting the Dark Oath guy in that. And there's the female Dark Oath chieftainess. I didn't buy that model because I couldn't see what I'd use it for. But now, now I can see what could be done with it. But if you're going to have a whole army, what other units do you think you could have? I mean, Warhammer Weekly mentioned, you could have packs of these dogs. You've got javelin throwers, archers. You got marauder horsemen. You've got marauder warriors. Anything interesting? Mammoth.
Yeah, you would have to really scrape the bottom of the barrel, wouldn't you? And maybe proxy that a few things. Look at the various evil entries out there in the army lists and pick out a few things that you could use the models for.
Yeah,
it could definitely be done.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Conan films for inspiration, but that's more like individual warriors, really, rather than sort of troop types.
And after that, I don't think there's too much more of interest on here. But there is the idea that Warhammer Quest is no longer purely a fantasy thing now. It's now moving into the sci-fi realm, which is interesting. And more sci-fi looking things, and that's that.
Well, that was a good one. What's that guy in the middle? Go up one. What's he?
Oh, that is, let's see. It looks like it's some kind of Imperial priest in the 40k universe.
That could be converted to a devoted to Sigmar, couldn't it? Easily.
Let's see what you'd have to ditch.
Just the
Get
gun.
rid of the gun and the skull with the eyeball thing there, and you could convert this weapon here into something a bit more fantasy looking with a different mace head. It wouldn't be too difficult. He's got a few pipes coming out of him that you might need to address.
Yeah, just paint them differently. You can make it look like part of his cloak. Some of those thick, velvety, medieval cloak rims. Yeah,
You
that's
certainly
very
could.
cool. Just wish they had more units available for devoted, really, because you can't, as you know, last battle report we did, I used those, but just been fleshing it out with Empire Free Guild stuff. So yeah, I've got loads of armies on the go, haven't I?
Right, so the next thing, which ties into the next screen share I want to bring up, but I asked people earlier what they would like to talk about, whether they had any questions for us, and one of the questions that came up was, would we consider playing one of the smaller games, for example, Warhammer Underworlds, which you've already got your own little faction for now, haven't you, with those Grots, which we're going to see at some point tonight. So would you consider actually learning the rules to another game, or is that just way too much and that's the craziest thing you've ever heard?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
What is it? Warhammer Underworlds? Am I actually going to play it? No, I weren't planning to. But I built a war. I painted a war bank because I like the models. I really ought to read the bump that comes with it, shouldn't I?
If the people demand it, would you give it a try, though?
Yeah. Yeah, of course I would.
Because that's the kind of thing where it seems to be up your street, because you don't need to paint a vast force. If something just comes out, it's just a box with 5 models in it, or even less than that sometimes, you can just grab that, paint them up nicely, and not have to worry about needing another 30 of them.
Yeah, I mean, I played Silver Tower, and I just played with one other person, and it was, it weren't, I don't know, it weren't brilliant. The models were wicked, but I don't know, maybe it would have been more fun.
Silver Tower, it's a different experience, though. The Warhammer Underworlds is more of a, it seems to be a bit more, how to describe it, more competitive, perhaps. I think Silver Tower is really more of a cooperative, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, look, I'll definitely give it a go for sure, man. Yeah, and if I was going to buy another warband, it would be those the Dark Oath ones.
Well, it's something we'll definitely have to look into. And
well, of course, I'd want to get the one with the trolling and the mushroom.
well, let's have a look right now. In fact, at this page for Warhammer Underworld's Night Vault. So, what have we got here?
Pretty good deal, man. £40. That would be £32 in my local shop.
Let's see what's in there. So in this one, you get some Night Haunt.
Yeah, the Briar Queen, and that unit that comes with it has got its own special rules. So I could add that definitely to my Night Haunt collection. I've got about 1,000 points Night Haunt done.
Comes with some nice Stormcast as well.
Yeah, you just get 3 though. It's not.
I believe you do only get 3, but they must be quite potent. And these look like the same kind of thing that you get in the Soul Wars box. Let's just get confirmation here. In the box, Stormcast Warband, 3 push fit miniatures. Yeah, I think they're very similar. I think they're the Evocators or Evocators, however you're supposed to pronounce it, that come in that box. I think they're very similar to them. So tasty. Only £40.
What about you? Are you going to get them?
If I knew for a fact I would get some play out of it, it's definitely something I could see myself getting into. It looks quite interesting. I've watched 1 or 2 games of it on the old YouTubes, and it looks all right to me. It's got the kind of accessories that I like as well. I like faction dice and things like that. But often, if you're talking Age of Sigmar, for example, or 40k, the faction dice sets you can get just don't have enough dice in them because you want to be rolling at a time, up to 20 or more dice sometimes, and the sets maybe you'll only have 12 in them. So I'm sure you feel that pain.
Hey, I like those arcane hazards. I've not seen them before.
Let's have a look.
They look kind of cool.
Arcane Hazard.
It's like mini black pyramids.
Let's have a look at it rotating.
Yeah, it looks like all right. That you could paint that up real quick as well.
And this hideous thing, which looks very Nagash-like, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about this one, actually. It looks a bit...
Imagine yourself sat on that, Andy.
Probably not. It doesn't look very comfortable. The back of it, in fact, looks a bit like laser-cut MDF to me. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that one. Let's have a look at this thing here. Bit of a smoke plume going on in a pile of skulls. You can never go wrong with that, really, can you?
No, you could use that for a conversion or two.
Okay, that's enough of that. And they all have their own nice dice set. I like these gold ones, actually. Very, very nice colour there. So, in answer to the question, I think we would consider it, and it's in the maybe pile at the moment. So, we shall see.
I mean, talking about just getting projects out of the way, one thing that helped me was not trying to paint them too brilliantly, just getting something effective looking. That's really helped me, getting out of the mindset of trying to paint really amazing, because I've got really fast. I paint to a decent standard, and that's good enough, really, for me.
Yeah, there is a certain limit where you can keep getting better and better at painting, but you'll reach a point where you're not actually getting faster because you're adding more and more techniques instead of becoming more efficient at the existing techniques. And if your free time is dwindling, for example, like Mr. Remington here, if you're spending more time traveling to work, perhaps,
yeah,
and you may have a little bit less time, sometimes you kind of have to stop improving at times and just get what you know down to a fine art to get a full army done at times. I think that's kind of what I do with the Stormcast. I'm not trying to do anything new and crazy with them.
Yeah, because you can always go back if you want to, just touch up a hero or two, or heroine.
And people may notice that I've still got these Griffhounds behind me as well, looking on accusingly because the paintbrush hasn't touched them in quite a while. So they're just chilling out there as I move on to something I think is going to be more useful in the game instead.
So one other thing that's come up for pre-ordering is the new version of that Citadel paint holder.
New version of the good old paint handle, which appears to have claws coming out like some kind of undersea monstrosity.
I like it. Quite. 12 quid. I think it's they're putting it as.
Well, I don't think I've paid anything for these old paint pots that I used all the paint from and then recycled them into miniature holders with a bit of blue tack. I haven't found a need to upgrade from that yet.
Yeah. Speaking of buying little accessories and stuff, you can really waste a lot of money on doing that. Sometimes I'd go in and buy a miniature or a little box and then end up buying some brushes, some paint, some silly accessories. Suddenly you spent 40, 50 quid and you think, I could have bought a whole start collecting box for that much.
Yeah, sometimes you get tricked as well with when the new games come out, just with a little warband requirement. You think, I only need 10 models. That's just £25. There we go. I can play the game now. And then you start looking down and think, oh, they've got their own dice. They've got their own tape measure. They've got their own stat cards. Let's just click and add all these to my basket. And then when you get something, wait a minute, £75. That's not that cheap a buy-in after all, is it?
No, it's the same with the War Scroll cards as well. That's another little accessory that it's very hard to resist buying something like that. You think, I've got more, I can put more out. And then you think, or I could just get the free PDF and take screenshots of them, or just go to the site where you can
get them all on the app if you've got a device that's big enough for you to see them all at the game table.
True. And I guess after a few games, you're going to memorize your stats anyway.
Well, some of us probably will. Have you memorized a stat from Age of Sigmar yet?
Yeah. Savage Orc Boar Boys. 4 to hit, 4 to wound.
You're going to be pretty embarrassed if that's wrong now, aren't you?
It's all 4s and 4s.
Okay, that's not too difficult then. Right. Shall we, before we move on to what is essentially the main event of the evening, shall we look at some of the painted miniatures from the community, including some of yours, actually?
Yeah, I've just sent some through. While you're chatting, I was taking some pictures.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to have a look at this now. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, I'll get these loaded up as well, so that people can enjoy these in all their glory. 2 we've got here, have we? Okay. Those pasted in there. And now let's go for that screen share. Mr. Remington is so prepared that he actually sends me things for the show in the middle of the show. So here we go. These are from Brand, and look at that.
Wow. Oh my God. They're so amazing.
Would you say they are tasty, delicious, or dishlicious?
Dishlicious. I love what they've done with the heads because it's like, yeah, they've used different heads. Because I thought the heads on the Griffhound riders that you get a bit boring, but they look awesome. Love them.
I think they look a little bit sad, actually, because these were supposed to be kind of the elite monstrous cavalry to lead us into the next generation of Warhammer sculpting. And then within a very short period of time, the Stormcast popped up with like 8 of their own different mounts that are twice the size.
And better poses as well, because they're quite static looking, the Griffhounds. I think that picture flatters the way they usually look, because they usually look quite static. But the angle of those pictures make them look like they're all kind of purring. But yeah, they look wicked, man. Love
That's
them.
some top-notch dry brushing on the base rocks as well.
Yeah.
We've got another one from him as well. Look at that. Now, you said the last one was dishlicious, so where are you going to go now?
That's orctastic, that is.
Maybe not for the orc, but yeah, he is being gripped.
That is awesome. Wicked colour scheme. I actually bought this model from Warhammer World, and it doesn't come in an Age of Sigmar box. It comes in one of those white Citadel boxes, which usually implies that they're going to go out of print.
You mean it's not worth printing a load of new boxes for the few that they have left over?
Yeah. So I kind of like, I haven't built it yet. I'll paint it, but that's going to be like the centerpiece to my devoted / free guild force. Yeah, I mean, do you know one thing? Do you know, listening to the Soul Wars audiobook, it's based in a free city, so it describes a lot life in the free cities, and there's lots of humans, and it's like Stormcast are like the policemen or the coppers in the cities, if you like. And so it sort of changed my way of thinking about the Free Guild, that they should be seen more together. Like you should have a lot of Free Guild and then a few sort of Stormcast in an army that are kind of like the elite warriors. I can get my head around that better than just an entire Stormcast army.
Yeah, I think in defense of their own domain, I would say that's definitely how it should be. The Stormcast, if you're going to have a full Stormcast army, it should be like to lead the assault on a Chaos Dreadhold or something, which is what they would do. But if you're just defending the homeland, you would think the bulk of the force would be made up of just the local peasants and soldiers.
Yeah, it's kind of like the last battle we did against Stuart, wasn't it? It's like most of the models were Free Guild gunners, swordsmen, devoted flagellants, and then you had, your elite force that go in for the,
I just spotted this guy on the base down here as well, who looks like he's just been rescued.
Yeah.
There are more pictures of all these, by the way, on the Andy and Rem Show Facebook group for anyone who's not already a member.
Great paint job, though. I love the colour scheme. Is that Avaland? Yellow and blue.
I believe it is.
Nice.
I probably wouldn't have known that, but I did play Total War Warhammer and got slightly more acquainted with the different empires as I was crushing them. Okay, now this is from Caspian. And the way I describe this, have you ever played Roller Coaster Tycoon?
No.
Okay, well, you'll have lots of roller coasters all kind of intertwined across the screen. And to separate them so you can actually tell which one's which, I always make one of them like really ridiculously neon green so it stands out against the sea of orange roller coasters. So I know where each one passes across the other. And this color scheme just immediately reminded me of that. It's just the boldest of the bold, ridiculously bright green and purple. But look at the quality of the paintwork. Look at the mirror.
I love it. I'm sure I mentioned doing that idea once on our show. Yeah. Anyway. I love
Very,
it.
very tasty. There are more pictures of this on the Facebook group as well, and you can get more of an appreciation of exactly, especially this area at the top here, which I think is definitely the best part with the mirror.
I think I'm going to be bold here and say purple is the most effective colour on models.
You could be right. I do use a reasonable amount of purple on my Stormcast.
Yeah, I was looking through Vince Venturella's phenomenal paintwork, by the way. A lot of his armies and models, and they nearly always have purple on them.
You think that's the secret? You think we could all be just like Vince?
Purple and pink, yeah.
Right, let's see how that works out for everybody else. Now, I don't know who painted these, but I think it was some guy named Remington.
Yeah, colourful, blobby, fun, quick to paint. Get them done, get them out there.
How long did it take you to do this little warband here?
I kind of cocked up on my prep work for it because they're pushed to fit models. So when they come, they're like bright purple sprues, I think they were. So once you get over the shock of that, not seeing any grey anymore, you push them in. They've got custom bases for each model. And I was so excited, I couldn't be bothered to go into the corridor and base spray them in brown. And I didn't have any black spray, and I didn't have any of the black Citadel paint, because I'm on the last, down to the last dregs. Is it a Baden black?
Yes, although I don't use that anymore. I use the Vallejo black now.
Funny you should say that, because when I was in the model shop, I brought some model game color glossy back by Vallejo, and I didn't notice it said glossy on it, so I just put loads of it on the on these models. Well, it ended up all glossy and shiny and sticky and horrible looking. So
did you go in there with a matte varnish afterwards?
I don't have any matte varnish. No.
Oh, as if. How silly of me to assume that Mr. Remington might varnish a miniature now and then. You should see the elbows on all his old metal models, folks. Every single one of them completely silver. It's like in one of the Terminator films when they start getting shot and you can see the exposed endoskeleton.
I think it looks all right. I mean, some of those models are like 30 years old, man. They've done well. So yeah, black gloss on the bottom. It was horrible. So then it's basically just trying to salvage myself from all that. And in the end, it's kind of worked out quite nicely because all my other Moonclan Grots are all using that color scheme. It's just like fun and cartoony.
It is. They are definitely very fun, and the squigs. The 2 squigs are there in this little set.
Yeah, they are. It looks like there could be 3, but the fanatic at the back. Well, my other fanatics are all wielding these orange, like balloons. You know those space jumpers when we were kids. Space hoppers when we were kids. I did that, so I had to make that orange as well. So it looked really weird. So then I wrote Gits on it.
Well, that fixes everything, as we know.
And then the sort of wizard guy at the back, I thought, because he's a leader, I won't paint him with a black cloak. I'll make him have a purple cloak.
And I believe there are more pictures of these on the Facebook group as well, aren't there? Some more close-ups of each one.
I kind of wish I'd done them all purple, but hey ho.
I think it's nice to have him stand out, though.
Yeah. Yeah, so
And
I think that's a decent 7 out of 10 paint job myself, but there you go.
yeah, and if you could, it wouldn't take too much for you to add these to your force and then maybe add a few more models in there, would it, when the time comes? It'll be quite easy to paint up a few more if there are more models released with the new Moonclan Grots.
Yeah, well, before, last summer in shop, I ended up buying another unit of just Moonclan Grots. So I've now got 20 archers, even though archers currently are really doo-doo, like doggy doo-doo, like 5 to hit, 5 to wound with no bonuses. So I'm hoping they get a bit of some kind of shooty bonus, or they're a bit better than that anyway. But yeah, I've got 20 shooties. I've got about 35 spear and shields. I've got fanatics. I've got about 15 squigs, 10 squig hoppers, mangler squigs. Yeah, that's it. So I just need some extra bits and bobs now. So hopefully that's what I'll get when the new book comes out. I don't think I'm going to shell out for a colossal squig. I don't know. It's just too much.
Dave Doge says they look like they've stepped out of a 1980s music video.
Yes.
Lots of neon colours there.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think between us we could conjure up a really authentic 80s music video, couldn't we, with my sense of fashion and colours and your, let's just say, in-depth knowledge of the time period.
Yeah. In fact, on my TV in the evenings, there's an 80s channel. It's like the best channel in the world at the minute. Just wicked. Just non-stop music videos from the 80s.
Right, we've got more of your stuff here now. So
Here,
I'm sure you've got better pictures of these around the place.
Yeah, I quickly took that just to show you everything I've painted so far. And of course, one of our viewers helped us out, didn't they, with the starter set? So
yes, our anonymous benefactor.
yeah, so I thought I'd show you all my progress, and I'm now up to date with my Nighthawks. Done those banshees on the left, looking quite dishless. I can't say it. Dishy.
Tasty.
Yeah, tasty. And I have bought an edition, a centerpiece model, if you like, that's on the camera right now.
Oh, I'll just switch it over to you.
Oh,
there we go. Very nice. The Mortark of Grief.
Yeah, it's Andy. Yeah. Oh, it's Andy's ex-girlfriend, Lady Linda. Gonna get her in. But when I was on the army builder thing, War Scroll builder. And I'm probably wrong about this, but the only battle line unit in the army is those bloody chain rasp things. And I kind of need another battle line unit.
There are usually ways of turning other things into battle line units.
Yeah, I don't want to do any more of those chain rasps. They're really boring after a while. Painting the heroes was wicked. So, it was either getting Lady Linda, more chain rasp, or 3 of those guys holding the lock and keys. Chain lock guys. Can't remember what they're called. Locksmith ghosts.
Locksmith ghosts. I'm sure that is the name of them, yes.
I like those. But yeah, that looks like could be, nearly 1,000 points worth, right? And with Lady Linda there. And I might get that Bride Queen. But suddenly you find there's an awful lot of hero choices in the Nighthawk army.
Yeah, I find that for the Stormcast as well. There's just zillions of different heroes to choose from, many of which I have. So it's just a question of which ones to select for each battle. It's kind of like Thunderbirds, where they've got a particular mission, and you just pick whichever one you think suited best. And then some of them seem to get neglected because of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you agree based on that enthusiastic response.
Demon Lizard from Outer Space is missing the gym to watch the show. So thank you, Lizard.
We've been joined by Dino Titan Edition as well in the chat, who just arrived.
Well, I'll come to Dino in a sec. but Demon's asking, how many armors did I finish this year? Well, it depends what you class as an army. If you count this as an army, well, I've probably painted 3 this year, including these guys. Some of them were sort of painted from before. The war dancers in the middle were really old, so I've just basically put them all on round bases and made them sort of fit together a bit more. Wood elves have got to be the fiddliest army to paint, in my opinion. The woodcutter guys really look amazing in real life. So proud of them. Yeah, this army lacks a centerpiece model really to fit it all together, and it needs some archers. I've got about 30 old Scarlox Wood Elf archers from 1987, but they're just so detailed it's stupid. Not in a good way. Like, they've got bows, arrows, quivers, knives, swords, backpacks, belts, pouches, and each model takes ages. So I'm glad GW got away from making each army model into like an adventurer from Lord of the Rings. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this lot. I can't wait to get them into battle. Yeah, just I'm thinking maybe get some Sisters of Avalon in there, sort of some elite archers. So I've got loads of war dancers. I've got Glade Guard, no, Eternal Guard. I've got 10 with shields, 10 without shields, old school ones and new school ones. I've got the Glade Riders. I've got the girls on stags. So yeah, just need another unit, and then this will be done really. But that itself is a decent army, isn't it? It's all right.
I think what you're saying is you've been busy.
Yeah.
It's been quite a busy painting season in Renville. Definitely.
Yeah, just like effective concentrated painting.
It feels like I haven't painted that much on this show when I'm talking about Age of Sigmar, of course, because I think this year I've only painted maybe 3 Stormcast units, being the Vanguard Raptors with the big long strike crossbows, the Etherwings, and the Ballista. And then I'm going to do a few more from the Soul Wars box, though, because I want to get a couple more units finished from that box, because I've heard some of them are actually quite tasty. I've just never had the chance to use them yet because I haven't painted them. But hopefully I'm going to start getting more games in now, since I had those 2 games the other day with Stu. And I'm sure we can get some more games in at some point soon as well.
Yeah.
And
so I mentioned Dino Titan. Well, he set me a challenge. He wrote to me and said, look, I will challenge you, Remington. We both, because this Shadespire thing come out. He says, right, he's doing some orcs. He said, who can finish a little band first? And I believe I won that bet because he's gone really quiet.
I believe you did. Was there anything up for grabs in this stake, or was it just for fun?
I can't remember, you know. I think you might be sending me some free models.
Just assume that that's the case anyway. Okay, I think... What do you think? Do you reckon that we should launch into Season 2 of the Forest of Rem right now?
I love it. I'm ready. I'm willing. I'm wanting.
Okay, have you got your instrument?
I'm wishing.
Are you going to come up with a slightly different theme song for the Forest of Rem this season as well?
Just like that, right?
Well, you expect me to come up with the entire plot and side characters and everything else just...
How did the other theme tune go?
It was...
Oh, the Forest of Rem.
Forest of Rem, is it a chicken or is it a hen? Something along those lines. So you can make a slightly different tune for this season.
Well, it will totally be improvised.
For anyone who didn't catch the first season, by the way, you should have watched it by now. If you type in the Forest of Rem into my channel search bar, you'll be able to find a video that's just got the entire season 1 in it with no interruptions. So you can get a couple of hours of just pure improvised single-player role-playing action. I haven't even done a logo for this season yet because we just decided to do this last minute. So there's no plan at all, which fits in perfectly with season 1.
Okay. I've got something. It's going to be awful, but who cares?
That's our motto.
Let's have a really. We're going to go for A flat minor seventh. About that. In the forest of Ram, in the forest of Ram, where boys become men, in the forest of Ram. And is the DM in the forest of Ram. Remington is the hero.
Well, is Remington a real hero? If you remember what happened at the end of season 1, Remington may not actually be that much of a hero after he embraced the Chaos Gods.
He did, but perhaps it was all a dream.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't all a dream.
Joel, just before you start, Andy, we've been a lot of people clamouring for some special character appearances in this season's Forest of Bram.
Okay,
it's not going to be right without, of course, Andy the Ungor, the character from the infamous Coven Throne. Which Coven? Sorry, which
I can't
Coven?
remember the name of your own game.
Which Coven? If you hadn't know what that story is, basically Andy the Ungor gets sacrificed, so he basically gets killed in the first season. So we'll have to sort of resurrect him somehow, but it won't be the same.
After episode 1, people can leave requests in the comments or on the Facebook group for characters they would like to see make appearances, and perhaps they can be worked in there. But shall I just dive totally unprepared into episode 1 and see what happens? Okay, here we go. Many years have passed since Remington the Ever-Chosen embraced the gifts of the Chaos Gods and ascended to status as the Ever-Chosen, sweeping the land on the back of his mighty chimera, Jeff, laying waste to cities, laying waste, in some cases, to entire realms. His name, when uttered on the lips of peasants, sends chills down the spines of their fellow townsfolk through inns and taverns across each of the realms. The word Remington seems to echo eerily across every battlefield. But years have passed. Remington has not been seen for some time after laying waste to the realm of fire, after a particularly glorious battle in which he was soaked in the blood of his enemies. He simply vanished, according to eyewitness reports. And now, scene fade out. A young man named Remethy. Very young indeed he was when he was taken from his mother's arms by strange bandits during the night. Remethy was locked in a dungeon as a child, fed scraps of bread, fish heads, for many, many years. However, he didn't just sit there idly. He was busy lifting rocks, lifting himself off the bars of his cell, essentially beefing up as best he could as he grew. Young Remethy spied daylight out of the window. This was the first time he had actually seen daylight for a very long time. He had grown quite pale, as you can imagine. But this suggested that perhaps there was something afoot outside. And before long, Remethy was joined in his cell by something, a dark, shadowy figure slipping in through the window of his cell, skulking down onto the ground next to him, looking him in the eye from within the dark, shadowy hood. A small pair of yellow eyes. Remethy, how will you greet this strange being? This is the first living thing that you've seen for many, many years. All your meals have been slid through a hole in the door. How will you respond?
Who are you?
The creature leans forward and begins to sing a little song. Oh, a goblin is sneaky as sneaky can be, and 'cause I'm a goblin, it's easy to see that no other creature could out-goblin me. A goblin-y goblin am I. Yes, I'm a goblin-y goblin. Did I say goblin? I meant grot. You've been greeted by a grot, quite a musical grot.
I like him. I would not attack this guy.
You do have a dice, don't you?
I do have a dice. Maybe he could be my grot companion. That'd be cool. He'd be like Ukko in Slain from 2000 AD comics. I like this guy, and I'm going to roll high. This is my skull die.
What are you trying to achieve with this dice, though?
Oh, I don't know. Hopefully, he won't poke me with his stabber.
Well, you're trying to charm him, or what? Trying to befriend him? You haven't had a friend for years and years, ever since you were snatched out of your mother's arms as an infant.
Well, I've heard tales that Grots have a wonderful drink called mushroom stew or something like that that's supposed to be kind of a bit like hallucinogenic. So I'm going to ask him for a sip of mushroom stew. Does he have any?
He reaches into his pocket. Roll the dice.
Skull dice. Remington! It's a 6.
It's a 6. Wow. Okay, he actually pulls out a steaming hot bowl of mushroom soup and hands it to you. This looks very appetizing compared to the fish heads you've been living on for the last decade or two.
Right. Let's down it in one to show him that, show him I'm one of the boys.
Okay, you down it in one, and far from starting to feel dizzy, it actually invigorates you, and you feel like you've got a raw energy flowing through you. You actually feel like you could maybe try and bust your way out of this cell. What do you think?
That sounds like a good idea.
But just as you're thinking that, the little food hatch opens, and a strange gloved hand shoves your daily tray of fish heads and mouldy bread scraps under the door, which then immediately closes.
Well, I shall offer it to my new friend.
Okay, roll the dice again.
All right. He's going to love this. Remington! It's a 4.
It's a 4. Okay. The grot accepts your gracious offer, takes a bite of the mouldy bread. He seems not too fussed either way. He accepts the gift quite readily.
Mm-hmm.
Just average.
Right. So let's get out of here. I'm gonna attempt to charge the door with my new.
Well, do you want me to describe the inside of your cell a bit?
Oh, I suppose you'd better.
So the window he just came in, it's too small, definitely, for you to get out of.
Wow.
It's a window that you didn't even know it could open, really, because it's so tiny. But the walls are very solid stone. The door is seemingly iron, apart from the tiny little hatch at the bottom, which is far too small even for a grot. And to the side of the door, there is a torch, which is never seemingly lit. And you're kind of in eternal darkness, save for the small amount of light that comes in through the little feeding hatch.
I don't know. Is there any way I could just put my hand through the window and reach for the grot?
You want to throw the grot out the window?
What, is he inside with me then?
Yes, he snuck into your cell.
Oh, I'm going
to sing you a song and offer you mushroom soup.
I'm going to say, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
Okay, he leans in and whispers to you, and he tells you that his name is, in fact, Grotty.
Grotty the Grot? That's
yes.
not a decent enough name. I'll have to rename this grot.
The reason that he is named Grotty the Grot, he explains to you, is because far from living among his own, he's actually been enslaved in the city by pesky humans.
Yeah.
Much like young Remothy. And he became aware of your plight, and that's why he came in, to bring you a little bit of entertainment and some nourishment in the form of that delicious soup. So Grotty isn't his real name, but it's the only one he knows.
Right, I'm going to ask Grotty if there's a way of him helping me to get out of here.
Well, he reaches into his other pocket. Roll a dice.
Remington! It's a 2.
It's a 2. Well, he brings out a piece of crusty old cheese in the shape of a key.
Ah. Nice, nicely disguised key, Grotty. Let's see if it opens the door.
It crumbles into pieces.
I will look at him with my hands open and thinking, I'm just going to go, what the hell?
He shrugs. It looks like you're going to have to find another way out.
How did he get in? Through the window?
He got in through the window. It's too small for Remothy.
Something to do with the torch. Maybe the torch is a lever that opens a secret door. I'm going to pull the torch.
You're going to pull the torch. The first time you've tried to pull the torch in 20 years. Okay, roll the dice.
Okay. Remington! It's a 5.
It's a 5. Okay, the torch comes away from the wall, revealing a bit of structural weakness in the cell.
Yes. See, not just a pretty face, Andy. Right.
And Grotty, at this point, starts jumping up and down excitedly and whistling and pointing at the structural weakness and seemingly encouraging you to kind of shoulder barge or drop kick it.
Right. I'm going to summon all my strength from the mushroom stew, and I'm going to Bruce Lee kick it through.
Okay, roll.
Remington power! It's a 6.
Okay. The wall of the cell completely shatters, and the 2 guards that were stationed outside, wearing full plate armor, are crushed to death by falling masonry. And blood spills out from their armor. You can see like a bit of entrail seeping out onto the ground. And outside of your cell, it looks like your typical jailer's room with various other cells, which seem a bit less secure than yours. It seems like your cell was especially powerful and potent to keep somebody inside, and the other cells are more of your common criminals.
Right. Do the guards have any weapons or provisions or costumes I can steal?
Yes, roll if you wish to search the guards' bodies for anything usable.
Here we go. Remington. It's a 5.
It's a 5. Okay, you may want to make a note of these items that you find on the 2 guards.
Okay.
So these are the things that have not been ruined by the fallen masonry or entrails. Okay, so you find a key.
Yep.
A sword.
A sword.
An onion.
Okay.
And a tiny pouch.
Fantastic. Right. I'm going to give the onion to Grotty. I'm going to hold the sword. Have I got... What am I wearing? Have I got loincloth? Have I got...
You're just wearing very simple rags.
Do they have a pocket in these rags?
There is a simple pocket in them.
Okay, I put the key in the pocket, and I put the pouch in my pocket. I'll have a look at that later, and I shall make my way out.
So there is a kind of a spiral staircase leading upwards, which you assume would lead you out. All the other doors appear to be to different cells. So you have the choice of perhaps examining the cells for prisoners. You've got this key, which you don't know whether it would perhaps open one of the cells, or you can just immediately make a break for it.
I'm going to just run. Not bothered.
Okay,
I want to get out of here. They can't be, you know, very good people in this prison.
Are you encouraging Grotty to come with you?
Yeah. He's all sort of outlived his usefulness now, hasn't he?
You said he was going to be your faithful sidekick. Now you just given him an onion and told him to go on his way.
He might be useful. I'll ask him if he can fight.
He nods eagerly.
What with? Do you have a weapon, Grotty?
He doesn't appear to have a weapon, but he does hold up the onion that you just handed him.
What's he going to do? Is he going to bad breath people to death?
Well, he could maybe kill people with his singing.
Does he know any magic spells?
Roll the dice.
Oh, wow, yes. Okay, here we go. Remington! It's a 2.
No, he doesn't.
Great. Right, I'll just say, well, are you coming then or what? And lead the way.
He eagerly follows behind you at first, and then upon hearing you instructing him to lead the way, he then starts hopping up the stairs one by one. Do you follow behind him?
Yeah, okay.
Are you going quickly or stealthily at this point?
Stealthily, wielding my sword.
Okay, would you like to roll the dice to see how successful your stealth attempts are? Because there has just been a very loud crash of falling masonry as well.
Yes, I would. Remington! It's a 4.
Oh, that's relatively stealthy, so you're not going to get interrupted on the stairs by anyone that's overheard you. But you do hear a bit of commotion as you reach the top of the stairs. There is a wooden door there. It doesn't look quite as tough as the door to your cell. There is no keyhole.
I'm going to bang on the door with the hilt of my sword.
Okay. Would you like to make a sound effect for that? You hear hushed voices on the other side of the door, and perhaps a little bit of trepidation in those voices as they whisper about what could possibly be behind this door, because they've just heard that incredible crash from downstairs. They didn't immediately rush down, so it must have sounded quite bad. And now they've heard something banging on the door.
I'm going to shout, quick, the prisoners are escaping downstairs, let me in.
Okay, do you want to roll to see how persuasive that was?
Yes. Remington! It's a 3.
It's a 3. They don't seem to really be buying it, and you hear more whispers. In fact, one of them pushes the door open a crack and peeks round, and he actually spots Grotty on the stairs next to you.
I'll say, look, we're the only survivors.
He narrows his eyes towards you. Says, aren't you that prisoner?
Yes, I was released.
You're going to have to make another persuade check here.
Okay. I was released by this goblin. Okay. It's a 2.
No, you're not. And he slams the door in your face and runs off shouting for help.
Right, I'm gonna have to shoulder barge the door. Well, I've got a key, haven't I?
You've got a key, but there's no keyhole on this door. It swings open easily, but you know for a fact that there are guards on the other side now.
Mm.
So it seems like you've got some choices here. Do you plow in there and just swing wildly and try and kill them all, or do you go back downstairs and find some alternative?
Is there any way I could light a fire?
Well, you do have that torch.
Right. I'm going to set fire to the door. Smoke them out.
You want to set fire to the wooden door?
As George W. Bush says, we're going to smoke them out.
Okay. What are you going to do? You're going to rub a couple of stones together to create the spark?
Surely the goblin can do something here.
So you want the goblin to light fire?
Yes.
So you're sending him to go and get the torch, are you?
Yes.
Okay. Grotty scuttles away down the stairs, and you hear him kind of ferreting about in the cell. And while this is going on, you hear kind of like plate mail walking towards you, several sets of it, like a whole platoon almost, stationed outside the door now.
Right.
Anything you want to do while you wait for his return?
I might have to stick to the story here. Right, I'm going to lie in the corner as if I've been wounded and put the sword down. And when they open the door, I'm going to say, quick, he's getting away. The goblin attacked me.
Okay, then. So you're getting in position. The door starts to creak open. Would you like to roll your persuade check?
Persuade check. And also, may I add that the goblin is about to set fire to the door and set fire to the whole prison.
Okay, because you've added that little embellishment to the story, you can have +1 to the roll as well.
Here we go. Remington! It's a 4.
A 4, that's pretty good then. They seem to be buying it. One of them eyes you a bit warily, but for the most part, they just push the door open. They hear your cries of bloody violence against you and the fact that the goblin is plotting to set fire. to the entire place, which seems to be confirmed when he appears at the bottom of the stairs holding a lit torch and cackling maniacally. So
fantastic. I shall go into the room as the guards run down the stairs after the Grots.
okay, they immediately charge down the stairs like jump, 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 and you hear the goblin scuttling away back into the cell. The guards go in after him, and you hear kind of an almighty commotion, but you don't know what's happening in there.
Well, I'll go in there and I'll lock the door behind me so they can't come back in.
Well, you can't lock the door. It doesn't have a lock. But in the room that you've just entered, there is a scrawny little person sitting at a desk, which is a very, very hefty wooden desk. And aside from that, there is nobody else in there. There is also a large barrel with a lid on, so you can't see what's in there at the moment, and a door with a keyhole, which you suspect would lead you outside the building.
Okay, I should tell the guy behind the desk, I should say, you better seal that door because there's prisoners on the loose here. I managed to just barely get out with my life.
Okay, would you like to try and persuade him?
I would. I'm getting good at this persuasion. Rem's persuasion. It's a 3.
A 3, he's not totally convinced by that then. He seems to be a bit brighter than the soldiers. There's the kind of these big muscle heads that you just ordered down the stairs, and for some reason they went along with it.
Okay, I'm going to ask him what's he doing? What does he do?
He stops what he's doing. He appears to be some kind of scribe, and he's on some kind of parchment, and he's scrawling prisoner names and lengths of sentences on it.
Right.
Underneath the desk, there's a huge bundle of these parchments.
I shall tell him all his stuff is about to go up in flames because there's a riot downstairs. We better leave quickly.
Okay, because he didn't believe you, he is actually going to go and have a little look for himself. So he opens the door, peeks down, and he's looking around the corner now.
I'm going to kick him from behind so he falls down the stairs.
Okay, roll the dice.
All right, here we go. Cut dice and try again. It's a 4.
It's a 4. He's pretty scrawny, so you do successfully give him a kick, and he starts to roll down the stairs pretty slowly. But he's out the room now.
Right, I shall quickly search the table, see if I can find any coin or any records of my own.
Well, would you like to search through the various pieces of parchment underneath the desk?
Yes, but very quickly.
Okay, how many of them are you going to search before you think you should run away? How many of them are you going to look at?
A whole lot and go.
You want to take them all with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, there is a barrel in here as well and a door.
Is there a window?
No.
Is the door open?
It appears like it's locked, but you do have a key, which you haven't tried on anything yet.
All right, I'm going to roll the barrel to the other door where the stairs were, just to block the way.
Okay, roll.
Let's roll the barrel. I got a 1.
A 1. You fail to move the barrel. It's incredibly heavy. There must be something inside it.
Oh, I better search the barrel.
Okay, you pry the lid off the barrel, and you find one particular piece of parchment rolled up that seems to be slightly more weathered than all the others, like it's been there for a long time.
Do I know how to read?
Well, actually, you do, because even though you were taken away at a young age, you had quite a privileged upbringing at the start of your life. So you learned the basics, you learned how to read and communicate, but you haven't had to use those skills for a long time. We'll say you were about, let's say, 7 or 8 years old at the time.
Okay, so I'm going to try and read it.
Okay. Roll the dice.
It's a 2.
Well, you haven't read much for a long time, but you do make out the word Remethy on it. And you think possibly with your eyes adjusting to more light, later on you could possibly do a better job reading it if you take it with you.
Yes, I'm going to definitely take that with me, roll it up, stuff it in my overalls, and then we'll try that key and try and get out of here.
Okay, as you approach the door, you notice that the key appears to be far too small for the lock. However, this door is not metal, it's another wooden door.
Well,
So
the effects of the stew are still working. So I could try and barge it.
Okay, you're going to try and break the door down.
Might even be open. Is the door open?
Well, you try to open it and roll the dice. Let's see if it's open.
Yeah, I think it's going to be open. Come on. Open that door with a 4.
It's not open, but it doesn't feel very strong either as you try and open it.
Right, I'm going to have to kick this door down.
Okay, as you run up to attempt to kick the door leading to the spiral staircase opens up and the scrawny little man appears again. It looks like one of his arms is badly broken and like hanging off, and he points at you accusingly, and he just shouts out the word, "Oi!" So, are you going to try and break the door down now?
I'm going to order him to open the door.
You're going to order him to open the door?
Yeah, you betcha, because I've still got my sword.
Okay, he looks at you in horror, realizing that the tables have turned somewhat. And he looks back to see what is something of a raging inferno behind him. And you don't know what's gone on downstairs, but you know a fire started and the goblin was down there with a lit torch and a lot of soldiers went down after him. So you don't know what's happening, but you can see the flicker of flames behind his head. So he pretty much walks towards you, and you're going to want to roll the dice now to see how persuaded he is.
I got 4.
Okay, yeah, I think he's thinking of self-preservation now, so he just wants to get out of there as well. So he takes a huge bunch of keys off his belt, and he picks one of them out and just opens the door. And he runs out before you get the chance to, by the way.
Okay.
So he darts off into the street, and when I say street, it's kind of a cobbled street with several buildings pressed up close to this one. It looks like a very dense inner city area.
Right.
Are you heading out into the streets for the first time?
I'm going to go dancing in the streets, man. I've got freedom.
Okay. Remethy steps out onto the street, and it seems to be morning. There's a bit of sunlight, not a huge amount. And the smell of freshly baked bread is rising nearby, something that you haven't smelled for a very long time. You've only had the mouldy old scraps and fish heads for many a year. And you can hear the sound of seagulls coming from one direction. You suspect that way might be perhaps the docks. There are a few people about, but it seems to be quite early in the morning, so not too many. They just look like regular peasants, though.
Well, as I've been eating fish heads and soup for my last 20 years, I think it's time we headed for the sea. Try to get away from this land by boat as quickly as possible.
Okay. You're going to have to roll a dice now to see if you can navigate your way towards the docks.
Okay, here
safely.
We go. Remington, 6.
Okay. You turn right and immediately just kind of step into the docks by pure chance.
Fantastic. Right.
So there are early morning fishermen sitting on the dock. They're not quite watching the ships coming in and going out again. They're there with their rods out and hoping to catch some early morning fish. And there's a little bit of a market being set up as well. And you're not too keen on the smell of the fish, though, because you've had the fish head diet for quite a while now. So it's not making you that comfortable. But there are several boats. There's a couple of large ships, a couple of small little boats with kind of old weathered sea captains.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Yes, I shall head to one of those and pick the grisliest sea captain I can find.
So you want to head to the grisliest sea captain you can find?
You betcha. He'll be sympathetic to my cause.
Okay,
passage to Sartosa.
Quite. As young Remethy, who's not really that young anymore, but still relatively young man, heads through the docks, that a few people turn and kind of give you second looks like, is that really? That kind of vibe you're picking up from them. They seem to be somewhat suspicious of you and also surprised to see you, but they're not entirely sure who you are. They have an idea, you suspect, but you don't know why at this stage.
Well, fortune favours the bold, and I'm going to make an announcement.
You're going to make a proclamation in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying, I am Remethy, son of Remington. and I am a world hero.
Okay, because that's probably a blatant lie, you're going to have to roll a persuade check now.
That's not a lie. I really am. Okay. Roll the dice. Remington. I got a 2.
People start laughing. They are unpersuaded by your cries of being a relation to the great Remington the Ever-Chosen.
Okay, I'm going to make another announcement. I'm going to say I'm here to recruit heroes for a new voyage.
Okay, everyone's still laughing at you, so you're getting -1 to this roll.
To find lost treasure? Okay, no, no difference there. Here we go. Remington! It's a 1.
Okay, the people are falling over themselves laughing at you. Something about you just seems to be tickling them for some reason. And you've got no chance of getting through to this crowd now.
Right, I'm going to have to pretend that I meant to do that and it was all a joke. And say something like, okay, so what does a new guy in town round here? Where does a new guy go?
Well, the only person that isn't falling about laughing is a kind of a robed elderly gentleman who approaches you with his stick. And he leans in and whispers to you, "You're not from around here, are you, Sonny?"
I say, no, I'm new to this town, seeking shelter.
"You ought to come with me, Sonny."
Now, I was always told not to talk to strangers, but when you're on the run from the cops, I think got to be sympathetic to small mercies. So I shall say, lead the way, my friend.
Okay, the old man starts to hobble away, which is kind of along the seafront towards a small hovel.
Fantastic. They'll never find me there.
As you follow him, you pass more people that are kind of stifling their laughter at your middle of the street proclamations, which didn't go down too well with the masses.
I'm going to say, you'll see me again, and you won't be laughing then.
Okay, roll to see if they were successfully persuaded.
6.
Okay, they seem to go, "Oh, well, that's told me."
Yes.
And they stand up and they just return to their daily routines with renewed respect for anyone that maybe announces that they're the son of the slaughterer of worlds.
Right, happy days. I've escaped from prison. I found a new friend.
Yes.
I've outwitted a goblin. And I've got high hopes.
Yes, you're about to enter the old man's hovel, and that's where we're going to leave it for this week, folks. So we'll take suggestions on what could be behind that door in the permanent comments, not in the side chat. So if you want to leave those afterwards. Any other suggestions for characters from the past that you want to appear as well? Anyone from perhaps season 1 that didn't get decapitated, which there aren't many of those actually.
Wasn't Stuart? Stu was in it, wasn't he? He was a bird man on my shoulder.
He played the voice of Remington's. It was a bird that grew out of one of your arms, I think.
Was it my neck? I can't remember.
I know everyone wants to witness the return of the flesh wand as well.
Well, yeah, Mickey. That'd be Mickey, won't it? Wanting the flesh one.
Okay, so that's that. I hope the audience found that deeply enthralling.
Well done, Andy. Fantastic games mastering there.
Masterpiece, as always. Raphael Marge in the chat, he wants to know all about Kings of War Vanguard, which is the new Kings of War skirmish game. And I can tell you I'm going to be talking about that very soon. Not on this show, of course, but I'm going to be playing my first game of that tomorrow. And then at some point I'll be doing a live show to discuss the ins and outs of that particular game system. So you don't have to wait too long if that's the kind of juicy content you're after.
So, since you were last at the show, you've been crowned the Kings of War champion, no less.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, the Kings of War hero.
You could say I'm a lesser hero. Actually, I've actually finished the Kings of War season as number 4 in the UK rankings.
Wow. How many players are in these tournaments?
It's difficult to say how many there are regularly. In ranked, I think there are about 100 people, but a lot of them have only been to a couple. So I'd say really active players, there's probably 50.
What, in the whole country?
50 really active on the tournament scene in the ranked tournaments.
Wow, that's cool. What have your winnings been then?
I haven't won a tournament actually, but I have finished 2nd and 3rd at tournaments.
What do you win if you?
I've got a couple of little nice trophies. And I did finish 6th at the Clash of Kings as well, which is the 80-person tournament.
Wow. And have you won respect?
I like to think I've won respect, not only for my generalship, but also for my fashion sense.
And what armies did you take?
This year it's been entirely goblins. But it's going to be moving on to undead halflings now.
So is that an actual faction?
Well, I'm just going to be using them as the halfling faction. But they are actually, the models are all skeletons.
So what are halflings good at in Kings of War?
Shooting. And they're pretty good at not being shot, actually.
Right. Well, they're ethereal, aren't they, I suppose? So that's one thing.
Raphael Marge, will you start a new army next year? You mentioned Forces of Abyss. Yes, I'm thinking of doing an Abyssal army for Kings of War very soon. I've actually got a few models already in the pipeline, but haven't started really painting them yet.
Oh, that's good. What is that? A harpy? Gargoyle?
Yeah, something like that. This is actually from the Kings of War Vanguard.
It's not focused.
Abyssal set.
There you go.
There we go. It's focused a bit.
Right.
A few models, and I'm thinking of doing them kind of a really bright and happy, maybe a pink color scheme with adorable woodland critters on their bases, which is totally at odds with the fact that they're all evil demons. I think that'd be quite funny.
So what about Age of Sigmar? Would you consider a new army in that, or?
Age of Sigmar, I've got so many Stormcasts still to paint. I think when I've done all those, we'll see how I'm feeling.
Right.
But perhaps one of these days I'll go back to the Overlords as well. When I've got my painting motivation back, I might pick something up for them, get that painted, and try and turn that into a full army again. I think I just bought too much at once for the Caravan Overlords.
I was trying to say before, it's just get one thing at a time. Paint it. It's much more satisfactory.
Yeah, because you think at the time, well, I don't have to open them all. I'll just have all the boxes there. So when I want to get around to them, I can. But then it's kind of a weight on you that builds up over time.
Right.
And it drains the motivation out of you. Yeah. That's what I found with them anyway. And I just didn't have the motivation to even look at them really after a while.
No. I suppose you could always mix them with the dispossessed, right?
Yeah, that's definitely an option.
More rounded army, because I mean, they're a bit rubbish at the minute. People have been moaning about Caradron Overlords.
Yeah, I've been seeing that actually. It doesn't look like they're too competitive on the scene these days. But it swings around a lot though. When a different book comes out, it totally changes. They switch the points for something, and suddenly that's the hot new thing that everyone wants to take 10 of in their army.
Yeah, I never listen to all that rubbish. Just get the models you like.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in the same boat with Age of Sigmar. We kind of like to have more like one of everything, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, minimum strength units there. Because you just get one thing that can kill your buzz. It's too many models, too many things to paint at once, or too much of the same thing. Kill your buzz.
I mean, I painted those 30 Caradron Arcanauts.
Oh, wow.
And at the end of it, it was just, do I really want to paint anything else for this army ever again? And I've still got them. I'm not getting rid of them. So I can always add to the army later now.
Have you built a ship yet?
I did build one, but I've sold them all.
Oh.
I did actually make a profit on the army.
Yeah, wow.
That's so cool. That was mainly due to some guy in Poland that bought all my ether cannon wielding thunderers, though, which then became an illegal build 2 weeks later.
Oh dear. So, so you've got these 30 warriors then?
And the admiral as well. That's it. All painted. So if I want to add something in the future, it's going to be very easy.
Yeah. You could.
That's my plan. I do really like them as an army still.
I like them. I would like them a lot better if they had real heads. Faces.
Some people do paint them that way.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. We're going to have to get together for a game soon.
We are. We need to get a couple of games in, definitely. Because you haven't played a game since that last one at Warhammer World, have you?
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So we'll have to do something at Warhammer World sometime soon. And we'll have to get you up here sometime as well to get a couple of games in. Yeah. I'm thinking of getting a setup together for doing like live streams of games as well. I think it's the same software that you were using to do those test streams that you did.
OBS Studio.
Yeah, I've been using that, and I think it's much better picture quality than Hangouts. So I think live streaming a game over that would be quite fun.
That'd be awesome, man.
And also people could see all the horrendous rules mistakes that you don't normally see in battle reports.
You can see me panicking. But yeah, I mean, if you're 4th in the country, man, at Kings of War, that's pretty good. Because obviously, when you meet your nemesis, i.e. me, in battle, I usually win. So that would then, by default, make me in the top 3 of Kings of War. If I was
I can see 1 or 2 flaws with that argument. But I'm not sure I really need to go into them. I think people can work that one out for themselves.
Well, we'll come to the end, I guess, right?
I think we have for now, but I think we can do another show fairly soon. There are things that we can talk about, especially if we get some more games in as well.
You betcha.
So, are you prepared to play us out?
I think you'll find it definitely is your turn to finish.
I think you'll find I already did a song in the Forest of Rem this week.
So did I. I did the intro music.
Yeah, but I only have a maximum of 1 song per week. You're an actual musician.
Well, I
already used up all my musical talent on that Goblin intro song. So while you're pondering what our outro should be, I would like to remind the audience to don't forget to check out all the links in the description, join the Facebook group, leave comments left, right, and center. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're not already. And the next show may actually be sooner than 2 months. We'll try our best. If we could get it back to maybe once every couple of weeks again, I think that's achievable, especially if we're playing more regular games as well. We'll have more to talk about then. So we'll leave that one in Rem's capable hands.
Right, I'm going to compose a song made up of the comments in the comments box. How about that? But I'm going to, instead of asking you to post new stuff, I'm going to read what people have written. And then that way we can sort of kill 2 birds then, don't we?
Okay.
Turn my amplifier on.
So before you start that song, I'd just like to give my new signature outro line to everybody, and that is, good night out there, whatever you are.
You are the man, Andy, like the South Park Christmas critters. Thanks for the entertainment, guys. Amazing painting session. I would love some Andy and Rem multiplayer action. Same here, Remington Steel. Buy what you like. That was funny. Does this mean that Andy and Remington shows are gonna be more regular now? See you in 2 months then. Yeah, when is the next show? Laughing out loud, laughing out loud. It's Rem's turn to sing again. Laughing out loud, laughing out loud. It's Rem's turn to win again.
Again?